Hello everyone, it's JJ, also known as Bion King here on YouTube. I thought I'd bring you another deck tech today. That's my cat in the background. Sorry about that. He's harmless. Anyways, today's deck tech is going to be another commander deck tech. I've been trying to do a commander deck tech for a while, but my phone gets to a certain point and then it says nope. So, anyways, hopefully I can finish this video before I get to that point. So anyways, today's commander, it's going to be another monocolored. I only have 4 commander decks. So I mean, I'm pretty sure most of you realize, but these decks I do are ones that I have built myself and made myself. These are not deck lists that people have made themselves, but these are ones I have actually legit built. So anyways, today's commander is Nixilis Unshackled. So Nixilis, he's a 4/4 for 6, so kinda, he's got flying and trample. Whenever an opponent searches his or her library, that player sacks a creature and loses 10 life, and whenever another creature dies, put a 1/1 counter on him. So that's where he's good. So how this deck is it's kind of it's mono black control. There are still a lot of possible black cards I can add in here to make it more control. But yeah, he's part Voltron. So what Voltron is you want to make him strong and kill somebody with commander damage. And commander damage is you take 21 in commander, you're dead and out of the game. So anyway, that's our commander. So let's go on to the lands. So for the lands, we have a spawning bed. So tap to add 1 colorless to your mana pool, or pay 6, tap this, sack it, put 3 1/1 colorless Eldrazi Scion creature tokens on the battlefield. They have sack this, add 1 to your mana pool. So it's good because if you have Nixilis out and then you sack those Eldrazi Scions, not only do you get mana, he gets counters. Then we have Reliquary Tower, almost in every commander deck I have seen, because it says you have no maximum hand size. Tap this to add 1 to your mana pool, so that's good right there. And in this deck, you do kind of draw a lot, so that's kind of good. Then we have Sanctum of Ugin, so tap this, add 1 to your mana pool. Whenever you cast a colorless spell with converted mana cost 7 or greater, so there's only about 4 cards in here, so it's kind of bad, but anyways, if you do, you may sack this. So this is a may ability. So if it's a may ability and you miss it, you miss it. But may, if you want this for land, you can keep it for land. If not, you can search your library for a colorless creature card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So that's good right there. We're running about 4, maybe 5 colorless creatures. So there's that. Then we have Rogue's Passage. Tap to add 1 to your mana pool. 4, tap this. Target creature can't be blocked this turn. So good, especially if you put it on Nixilis. So there's that. Then we have Blighted Fen. So tap, add 1 to your mana pool. Pay 4 black. Tap this, sack it. Target opponent sacks a creature. Good if there's a lot of creatures on the field and you want them gone. Mortuary Mire enters battlefield tapped. And then you may put target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. So sometimes in this deck you do kill your own creatures, but that's because of mass board removal. So yeah, and then we're just running 34 swamps. So we're running 40 lands on this. 6 non-basics, 40 basics. So there's that. Now on to our planeswalkers. So our planeswalkers are Nixilis Reignited. So I have the Nixilis as commander, and then I have one of his planeswalker forms. Anyways, so +1, draw a card and lose 1 life. -3, destroy target creature, or -8, target opponent gets an emblem with whenever player draws a card, you lose 2 life. So that's good in there for partial control, like you can destroy target creature or stuff like that. Then Liliana Vest, target player discards a card, -2, search your library for a card, then shuffle your library and put that card on top of it, or -8, put all creature cards from all graveyards onto the battlefield under your control. So, black is known for tutors. You cannot play mono black decks without at least a couple of tutors, and this deck runs tutors. So Yeah. So now on to our instance. We have Grip of Desolation, exile target creature and target land. The problem with exiling is it won't give him a counter because that's when a creature dies. Exiling is different from dying. So, and we have Reckless Spite, destroy 2 target non-black creatures, lose 5 life. I mean, he gets 2 counters and you get rid of 2 possible bombs. Then destroy target creature or planeswalker with Hero of Downfall. Scour from Existence, exile target permanent. It's a really good card that was printed in Battle for Zendikar. Then one card that I like, Insidious Dreams, as additional cost to play this, discard X cards from your hand, search your library for X cards, and shuffle your library and put those cards on top of it in any order. So it is kind of good. Say you got like the Reliquary Tower out and you got like a bunch of lands in hand and you don't want to play the lands, you can just, discard them to Insidious Dreams and search for 4 cards you want. Grave Birthing, target opponent exiles a card from his or her graveyard, and then you put a 1/1 colorless Eldrazi Scion, and then you get to draw a card, so that's good. Doomblade, just more removal, destroy target non-black creature, and then finally, Death Denied, return X target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. So, that's our instance, so they're quite good. I mean, there are possible better ones, but this is what I have right now. So next we have Read the Bones, scry 2, draw 2 cards, and then you lose 2 life. Remember, scry, you look at the top 2 cards, and then you can put them in any order you want, or you could put them on the bottom. It's called digging. I mean, right here I'm reading it. To scry 2, look at the top 2 cards of your library, then put any number of them on the bottom of your library and the rest on top in any order. So that's kind of good. And it's good that you get to scry first. So there's that. And then we have Victimize. So choose target creature cards in your graveyard, sack a creature. If you do, return the cards to the battlefield tapped. Like I said, you kill some of your own creatures, so that's good. Then Sun and Blood, target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. So there's that. Sorry about this little skip, I just had to talk to somebody. Anyways, then we got Bone Splinters as an additional cost to cast Bone Splinters, sack a creature, so that's where Victimize and stuff like that comes in handy. Destroy target creature. So that's good. Then Ancient Craving, draw 3 cards and lose 3 life. The problem is sure you're drawing cards and losing life, but it's kind of better to, be ahead in the game than to be behind. Then Praetor's Grasp, search target opponent's library for a card and exile it face down. Then that player shuffles his or her library. You may look and play that card for as long as it remains exiled. So that is kind of good. Even though you're playing mono black, say you exile a black card or a colorless card, you can play it. So that's good. And then Increasing Ambition. Search your library for a card and then put it into your hand. And then if this was flashback, so cast from your graveyard, you get to search for 2. So, and of course, when you search your library, you got to shuffle it afterwards. So there's that. But whenever you flashback something, you may cast this from your graveyard for its flashback cost, and then you exile it. So exile is a different zone. Then we have Spread the Sickness, destroy target creature, then proliferate. So the fun thing about this is you get to destroy a creature, put a 1/1 counter on him, and then put another if you choose so. So that's good, and that's all fun and dandy. And then we got Profane Command, target player loses X life, and you get to choose 2. So target player loses X life, or return target creature card with converted mana cost X or less from graveyard to the battlefield. Where target creature gets -X until end turn, or up to X target creatures gain fear. And fear means they cannot be blocked by anything that is not black or an artifact. So anything that is black or artifact they can be blocked by, but that's it. Then we got Languish. All creatures get -4/-4 until end of turn. So that's kind of good, especially against indestructible creatures. So with indestructible creatures, remember, they can't be destroyed unless you have effects that say exile, or or you give them negative effects. Like the next one, Black Sun Zenith, put X -1/-1 counters on each creature, and then you shuffle this into its owner's library. So good against, you know, token decks. You can get rid of like a bunch of their tokens and then put like a bunch of counters on Nixilis. Then Sadistic Sacrament. So pay 3, search target opponent's library for up to 3 cards, exile them, and a player shuffles his or her library. But if this was kicked, so you pay 10, you get to search for 15 cards out of that person's library, and then they shuffle their library. So unlike the Praetor's Grasp, you don't get to cast those cards. But the fun thing about that is you could possibly get rid of combos in Commander. And trust me, I've gone against some decks. There are some really sadistic combos. And then our next card, Diabolic Tutor. Search your library for a card and put that card into your hand, then shuffle your library. So like I said, you cannot play... Well, you can, it's just not good. Mono Black is not good unless you have tutors. So yeah, there's that. Now on to our enchantments. Tainted Remedy. If an opponent would gain life, that player loses that much life instead. Good against life gain decks, and actually screwed over a combo with this card, but I'll get into that later if I possibly can. And then Grave Betrayal. Whenever a creature you don't control dies, return it to the battlefield under your control with additional 1/1 counter on it. At the beginning of the next end step, that creature is a black zombie in addition to its other types. And colors as well. So it's good, especially since you destroy a lot of creatures, you can return them to the battlefield under your control. So remember, like I said, Tainted Remedy, I did screw over a combo, and that combo is Exquisite Blood and Sanguine Bond, because it's the infinite kill your opponents. I managed to screw up that whole combo. So it's good against opponents who use life gain or that enchantment. Or that enchantment combo. You can't play the one enchantment without playing the other. I learned that kind of the hard way. So anyway, then we have Lash Wraith, so Living Weapon. So a Living Weapon is you put a 0/0 black germ on this, and it has this attached to it. So equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each swamp you control. If you have all your swamps, it gets +34/+34. So, and then you can equip for 2 black Phyrexian mana, so you can either pay black or 2 life. So you can either play double black, black and 2 life, or 4 life. So there's that. We got Hedron Archive, tap to add to your mana pool, and then 2, tap this, sack, draw 2 cards. This isn't really ramp, but if you have the possibility of going ramp style, I'd say so, because some of your creatures in here are higher drops. Then finally we got Elixir of Immortality, so 2, tap this, you gain 5 life, shuffle this in your graveyard into your library. So that's our artifacts, and now onto the main course, our creatures. So the first couple of creatures I put are the ones that combo with Sanctum of Ugin. So we got Still Hellkite, so flying, pay 2, he gets +1/+0 until end of turn. He costs 6, so he's a 5/5 for 6 with flying, which is good. And then you can pay X, destroy each non-land permanent with converter mana cost X, without whose controller was dealt combat damage by him this turn. So, say you're going against a token deck. The token deck has no flyers, and you hit him or her, whoever has this token deck. Pay 0. All of those guys are dead. Unless they have indestructible some way. But, yeah. And just give Nixilis a bunch of counters. Then we have Breaker of Armies. All creatures able to block Breaker of Armies do so. So it's kind of good, especially with Still Hellkite and him. So it's like, say, I'm going to go to attack, swing him, and Still Hellkite. And then you can pay Still Hellkite and screw over your opponents. That's one of the cards that can use with Sanctum of Ugin. So the Still Hellkite is the only card. Still Hellkite and the artifacts are the only cards that don't cost towards 7, but the rest of the other cards do. So Desolation Twin, whenever you cast Desolation Twin, put a 10/10 colorless Eldrazi creature token onto the battlefield. So you get to bring 20 power to the field for 10. So that's kind of good. And we have Bane of Balaged, so whenever he attacks, defending player exiles 2 permanents he or she controls. So, it's like Annihilator, but kind of worse. Because Annihilator, they have to sack the permanents. So, sacking means it's different. So, sacking, if they sack a creature, it could count towards him getting counters. But, since they're not being sacked or being exiled, he gets no counters, really. Then we have Eldrazi Devastator, so trample and 8/9 for 8. So that's good, and that's kind of our colorless creatures right there. And then the rest are just regular, good, old-fashioned utility creatures. So, other black creatures you control get +1/+1, and then pay 2 and a black. Another target black creature you control gains Death Touch until end of turn. So that's good. And then we got Keepsake Gorgon, so Death Touch, Monstrosity for 1 if you pay 7. And then when you make this monstrous, destroy target non-Gorgon creature an opponent controls. Reassembling Skeleton, so you can pay 1 and a black, return from graveyard to the battlefield top. Like I said, there are some sack outlets in here, or like you get rid of your own creatures. It's good because it's like you can get rid of him and then bring him back to the battlefield. And you can do that anytime. You can do it instant sorcery speed, so yeah. And we got Deathbringer Regent. When he enters the battlefield, if you cast it from your hand and there are 5 or more other creatures on the battlefield, so it doesn't count just your creatures, it counts all creatures. You get to destroy all other creatures. And it kind of sucks because with Nixilis, I don't have anything in here to give him indestructible. So yeah. Then we have Harvester of Souls, Death Touch. Whenever another non-token creature dies, you may draw a card. And he's a 5/5 for 6, so it is kind of good. Like I said, you draw a lot in this deck. And we got, if I can get her, Coffin Queen. So you may choose not to untap Coffin Queen during your untap phase. So you can pay 2 and a black, tap her, put target creature card from any graveyard into play under your control. And then, if you do, you keep it there for as long as your name's tapped. But if you untap her, remove that creature from the game if she becomes untapped or if you lose control of her. So losing control means either someone takes control of her, or for even just one turn, or for a while, but or she dies. So it's kind of good because it's just, you can even remove the creature. It's not goes back to its graveyard or goes back to the owner's battlefield. It's gone forever. And we have Herald of Shrek. This is a good guy to have in almost every black deck as well. He's kind of expensive mana-wise because he costs 7 and he's a 2/4 flying. Ugh, not great. But it's the cumulative upkeep, which is good. Gain control of a land you don't control. So with Praetor's Grasp, that means you can even just play something. Say you're going against a 5-color deck and you take a white card they have. You can take a white land they have and then play that later. So, anyway, gain control of land you don't control. And cumulative upkeep keeps going more and more. So, first time, take 1 land. Second time, take 2 lands. 3 lands. 4 lands. Keeps going and going. So, Herald of Shrek gets +1/+1 for each land you control that don't own. So he gets +1/+1 first, and then +2/+2, or technically +3/+3. Anyway, and then when he leaves player, each player gains control of each land he or she owns that you control. So that is kind of good. And I think a really great combo to really screw over your opponents is there's this white card. It makes you choose something you want and then sack the rest. So the best fun thing to do would be play Herald of Leshrac, get control of almost everyone's lands, have a Praetor's Grasp, take that card out, play it, and then choose to keep Nixilis, choose to keep one of your own lands. Or no, choose to keep Herald of Leshrac, and then choose to keep one of your own lands. Because if you don't keep Herald of Leshrac, everybody takes control of their own lands. So you can choose one of your own lands, choose Herald of Leshrac, everything is gone. Except for Herald of Leshrac, him, and a couple of other things that the card says. So I better hurry up. I probably got like 5 minutes left to do this video. So anyway, then we got Cletus Traitor of Get. So he's a 3/4 lifelinker. If a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, instead exile that card. So it kind of sucks with Nixilis, no longer gets counters, but you get a 2/2 black zombie, and then you can sack another vampire zombie and put 2/1/1 counters on him. Then we have Extractor Demon. So when he enters the battlefield, search your library for a card. He's a tutor on a stick. That's what I call him. Then we got Limb Duel Necromancer. Whenever a creature an opponent controls is put into your graveyard from play, you may pay 1 and black. If you do, return that card to play under your control. And if it's a creature, it's a zombie in addition to its other types, and you can regenerate target zombie with him. So that's good. We got Shieldred, the Whispering one, or just says Whispering one, not the. But anyway, Swamp Walk. At the beginning of your upkeep, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, and at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, that player sacks a creature. So that's good because it helps with Nixilis. And we got Disciple of Bullis. So when this enters the battlefield, sack another creature, gain X life, and draw X cards where X is that creature's power. So kind of good with our bigger Eldrazi and stuff, especially like Desolation Twin. So yeah, then we have Malachor Familiar, Flying, Death Touch. Whenever you gain life, he gets +1/+1 until end turn. So there's not a lot of life gain in here. He's just more in there for the utility. Excuse me. My throat's getting kind of parched. Anyway, then we got Grapeblade Marauder, Death Touch. Any amount of damage that's dealt to a creature is enough to destroy it. So even just one, which he is, can kill a creature. So anyway, whenever he deals combat damage to a player, that player loses life equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. So like I said, you get rid of your own creatures. Not a bit, but enough. So you can possibly hit your opponent for huge. And then we got Extractor Demon. So whenever another creature leaves the battlefield, you may have target player put the top 2 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. So there's that. Then we got Grey Merchant of Asphodel. Basically, everybody calls him Gary. When he enters the battlefield, each opponent loses X life, where X is your devotion to black. Each black is in the mana cost of permanents you control as your devotion. We got Vampire Hexmage. So sack this, remove all counters from target permanent. So it's good against Planeswalkers. You can remove all the counters before a person is able to pop one off. Then we got Malachor Coldblade. So whenever a creature an opponent control dies, put a 1 counter on him. So he's kind of like Nixilis, except it doesn't count your own creatures. It just counts one that opponent's control. And we got Silumgar Assassin, so creatures with power greater than his can't block it, and then when he's turned face up, destroy target creature with power 3 or less than opponent controls. Then we got Defiant Bloodlord, whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much. It's flying. We got Archfiend of Depravity, a really great card to have in this deck. So flying at the beginning of each opponent's end step, that player chooses up to 2 creatures he or she controls and sacks the rest. And it's good because if you have him and Shieldred, that means they can only have like 1 creature on the battlefield per turn. Or, yeah, per turn. So anyways, Scavenger Drake, well, at the minimum 1, at the most 2. So Scavenger Drake, whenever another creature dies, you may put a 1/1 counter on him. So this one is like Nixilis, it counts your own creatures. Then we got Nightmare Flying. His power and toughness are each equal to the number of swamps you control. So he could possibly be a 34/34. And we got Hypnotic Spectre, flying 2/2. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card at random. I learned that firsthand last night, or yesterday. Then we got Gorgan Recluse. Whenever it blocks or becomes blocked by a non-black creature, destroy that creature at end of combat. So good against, non-black decks. And then finally, Butcher Malachor. Whenever him or another creature you control dies, each opponent sacks a creature. So, anyways, yeah, that's my black commander deck. So it's Nixilis. It's black control in a way. There are a bunch of possibilities you can add in, like take control of target player's turn. Marilyn of the Morn Saga is a good add-in. I would explain some of these cards, but unfortunately, I don't know how long this video can go for. So, anyways, I hope you all enjoy and have a great day. Bye!